Hey everybody, how we doing? It is Wednesday night here on One Life. How are you all doing? It's hump day. However, there's some amazing things going on, not just in the music world, but also in the sporting world as well. For a Man United fan like me, it's been a lonely, lonely time down in the bottom of the English league, fighting relegation. But I'm getting off this podcast tonight because we have got a European final to go to against Tottenham in England as well. So if you're listening, all the people who are listening in, we have got some music, but I also had to mention the amazing Man United Tottenham game because at the end of the day, that's how passionate I am. But that was a bit about me because what we do in the show is that actually we find out about our artist's background, and it could be something related to music, but it also might be something that you lot don't know out there. We do not know when it comes to these shows. Sometimes we get some absolute stalkers that none of their fans know or none of their family know already. Okay, we've had some great conversations. So on the hot seat this evening, I have got the one and the only Toby May, everyone.
How are you guys
How
doing?
are we, Toby?
Thanks, Adrian, for the opportunity, buddy.
You're very, very welcome, young man. So, Toby, all over the way, is it Ohio, USA?
Yes.
It is. Okay, so I'm not very familiar with Ohio. Tell me a bit about Ohio. Tell me about the nightlife in Ohio. If I was to come to you, you were to take me out on a night out and show me around all the local clubs and pubs and music venues, where would I be going on a night out with you?
You know what we have a lot of in rural Ohio, which is where I'm at. It's a small town, about 15,000 people, and you know, we got a lot of like small little like gastro style pubs. You know, you put 150 people in there and it's standing room only. We have a lot of those, and those were, you know, integral in my up and comings in music. I've performed at many of those types of places, and that's really kind of, you know, shaped the backbone of you know, my showmanship, I guess.
Brilliant, excellent. So, everybody, we are going to be delving deep into Toby's background and his music. We're going to start right off the beginning because you lot out there in One Life, you've not met Toby before. He's very new to us in One Life. So, we're going to be delving into the deep, and we're also going to be finding out his background, going right back to when he first got into music. But before then, we're going to catch up with One Life, okay? So, Toby, while I'm doing this, why don't you text your friends and your family and tell them that you're live this evening on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And if they want to join us and they want to sneak out, because apparently it's afternoon over in the US, okay? If they want to sneak out of work and see Toby live online, they'll be able to see him right now, okay? So while I'm doing the introduction, Toby, you do that little bit of homework. If people want to come and join us, they can. There's a comments button, and they can leave us a message. But if you can't do that and the bosses are too strict in the USA, okay, just remember to leave Toby a comment after the show about his show, but also if there's any questions that you want to ask him about his music career, because tonight is the opportunity. Toby will be speaking to his friends and family to be able to catch up with them, because most of the time he's too busy in the studio or too busy producing the great music that he does for you, okay? So, but tonight is a time to catch him. So, One Life, what's been going on in One Life this week? Okay, so we were on live on Monday, so you did catch up. Just a couple of quick catch-ups with you. I'm aware that the Ugandan video, the one with the AMR narrative, is coming very close to fully being complete. So hopefully in the next few days that is going to be done. In terms of One Life, a little dicky bird tells me that on the 10th of October, and I don't know if this is the same in America, and Toby can help me, is World Mental Health Awareness Month. Is that right, Toby, in America as well?
I believe so.
We believe so. That's great. Because One Life this year is joining up with Sensational Sounds to put two festivals on, one in the north and one in the south. And that will be related to World Mental Health Awareness Month, okay? So we will be bringing bands over and artists over from the UK, north and south, but we will also be looking in Europe and also in America for bands to come over to England. Now, a little Dicky Bird also has told me that that's already started in process, and Sensational Sounds are already looking at some amazing artists coming over from America to come and headline in relation to these festivals. So that's just happened today. It's all brand new for everybody, and it sounds absolutely amazing, especially for One Life, to be able to actually, for this year, finally, I've been saying it for the past 5 years, finally, to put on a festival under One Life. But mental health awareness will be absolutely fantastic. So that's One Life. That's what we've been up to since we left you on Monday. It is now 5 minutes into the show. Adrian needs to get this on the road. Okay, so we are going to start off with Toby telling us, when was it that he actually realized music industry was for him? Do you remember? Was you a teenager? Absolutely. Was you a kid?
Actually, I was still a kid. It's funny because I can remember the spot on the road that it happened, and a little background on this. When I was a kid, I don't have any cognitive memory of what country music was. I have a sister that's 10 years my senior. And so, when I was 8, she was 18, and so I always listened to what she listened to, which was the pop music, in the 80s. And so it was Paula Abdul and, folks like that. And I remember the day I could take you to the spot on the road. And I was actually born in Gainesville, Florida, and I was raised in a little town in Florida called Chiefland that nobody's ever heard of. And my sister was in tennis during her high school days, and I was going with her to a tennis practice, and we had just turned on the road to the school, and she was flipping through the radio stations, and it landed on a country station, and I'd never heard anything like it before. And it was Garth Brooks, and it was Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old. And I was
hooked. That song.
I was hooked, and I was a Garth Brooks wannabe from then on. And, that's from that moment, I don't remember ever wanting to be anything else. If I wanted to be an astronaut or a fireman before that, it all went out the window when I heard Garth. And for years I emulated him and sang like him and tried to be like him. And, everything that is a blessing is a curse. And it's one of those things where later in life, when I chose to pursue music professionally, I got hey, we've already got a Garth. We don't need another one.
Need another one.
But no, that's really how it started. I would have to say it was at least 89 or 90. I don't remember the exact. I just remember it was summertime, but it was Florida, so it's 90 in February. So I would say it was 89 or 90, which makes me 9 or 10 years old at that point in time. And that's when I knew it was for me. And so I lived, I grew up through the 90s era, and that's what shaped me, that sound, the fiddle, the steel, the keys, and the storytelling. That's just ingrained in my soul. And, it's a lot of, with these new artists that are coming out like Zach Top and bringing this resurgence of 90s sounding country coming back, people are like, hey man, your music's your music finally has legs and things like that, or it's like it's in its right spot. And in my mind, I mean, the EP that I'm releasing on June 6th, 6 of the 8 songs on there were written in the 90s. So it is 90s country. It just is 90s country.
Yeah. I like it. And I think in terms of like bringing country back, bringing country rock, bringing country American, whatever country era you're bringing back at the moment, you look at the CMAs, the amount of talent on that poster, the amount of people are going to be playing in Nashville. And if you're at the CMAs when it's coming up in the next couple of months, you are in for a treat because there's some amazing musicians on there. And I'm lucky to get to hear like all of them in terms of what they can bring out. But I think in terms of that vibe, you know, even over here in the UK, we are getting a lot more country artists who want to go into country, want to go into country rock, want to come over to Nashville and come and play in Nashville, you know, and come and play in America because they're really enjoying that vibe. And even on the radio stations as well, when you hear sort of mainstream radios like Radio 1, sort of Radio X and things like that, there seems to be a big drive back into country music, you know. But also in terms of, you know, you saying to me just before we talked and come on live on air, you were saying about being a nobody, but, you know, in your bio, you know, working on this new album, you know, the producers that you're working, you know, you've got some quite big hitters out there who are able to support, yeah, you know, young, you know, up and coming artists or artists who want to develop and things like that. And one of the things I love about ISSA, but also love about America, is however big those producers are or those artists are, they will support each other. If you've got a dream, you take it, you know. So is this the same album you put in your bio? What's coming out? Is that the same one?
I don't. I believe I did mention in the bio that the album was coming out later this year. This is my debut album. I've wanted to put music out for a long time, many years, and for whatever reason, it wasn't my time. God, I believe that God is in control of everything. Everything happens for a reason, and it happens in God's time, not mine or yours. And in other interviews, I've talked about this, but for years I tried to push this. I tried to manifest a music career, and for whatever reason, it wasn't my time. This time, this all started really about 8 months ago. I was not thinking about music this time last year. I had all but retired from music. I had my EP and stuff recorded that we did in 20 and 21, and it just kind of sat. Relationships and relationships are key in this business. It's not about who you know; it's about how you know them and how you nurture that relationship. And like I said before, it just wasn't my time. And now God is he's definitely the ship and the captain that's leading this journey, because I am doing things now in my career that I have never done in the last 2 decades. I'm getting opportunities with performances, with radio, with recording. I mean, just every aspect of this business, it's just coming to me. And I'm not going out and searching for it. I'm not trying to make it happen. I'm not sitting around worrying and stewing and things like that. I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting invitations. I'm getting offers. I'm getting the way it's supposed to be, I feel. And as an independent artist that does not have the record label behind me that's doing all of that behind the scenes stuff, it's a very humbling and it's very satisfying. I'm extremely grateful because I feel as my career is growing, it is organic. In other words, every follow, like, share, comment is coming from a real live human being that is connecting with me through this music and taking this journey with me. And I would rather have that than hire some big multimedia company and I have 1,000 likes today, and by Friday I have 10,000, and I have no idea if they're real people or not. And I would rather do it this way and know that there is a real fan base out there that is growing with me. And it's just humbling because it's the first time ever that I put my own music out, Adrian. It's always been, I go to do karaoke and I'm doing a Garth song or Alan Jackson or, and everybody's like, oh my, wow, wow, it sounded so good. You should go to American Idol, or, back in the day it was Nashville Star and all this other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But you had something to compare it to. You knew what the song I was singing sounded like. It's a whole different ball game when you put original music out that nobody's ever heard. You open yourself up to all the critics. You open yourself up to, man, do I just suck? And and the overwhelming response to Tonight that we released back in March, this song is gaining traction. People are liking this. Some radio stations are putting it on this thing called like Sink or Swim or Click Yes or No, and it's getting these overwhelming yeses. Like, that baffles me. It's like it's the most humbling thing ever. Like, oh my gosh, I must be doing something right,
I think the independent music industry, the music industry in general, has been lost for 5 years. We've had, COVID, we've had wars, we've had the music industry in general struggling because of sort of financial difficulties, both in America and the UK. I've had very many people say to me, even today, when I'm speaking to a producer who produced Boys to Men, say to me, actually, why is it in the UK you're in such a state? You were the home of the Beatles. You were the home of such an amazing amount of musicians. And I just said to him, I said, do you know what? I think music's got lost. I said, our venues have got lost. Our kids don't know where to go and play no more because their venues are lost. Their festivals are lost. However, I think I have seen with the ISSA team, and I have also seen with the producers that I work with, a huge increase in actually, do you know what? Let's pick our feet up and let's make music alive again in 2025 and actually work together in the music industry to basically stand up and say, we're not going to be just locked away, because music can't be locked away. It's been around for God knows how long. Even the dinosaurs were playing music. So at the end of the day, we won't be beaten. We will not be beaten, and we will not go and lay down to sleep. We will work together as artists. We will work together as producers, and we will make sure that music always continues, because we owe it to people like Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson, all the people who have basically built us up as kids in the 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever. They've all got an era, whether it's Elvis Presley even. We've all got something to them that we keep their life going, and we keep the memory going with music. So this is why this month we are supporting the Music Venue Trust, okay, because they are speaking in Parliament about the reason we are feeling so worried about the music industry, but actually also what we're doing as a music industry to support each other. So we are supporting each other as indie artists, but we're also making sure that people hear us more. So within the ISSA, we have the ISSA radio station. Rick, if you're listening tonight, okay, your radio station, mate, we all love you to pieces, because it gives an independent artist the ability for our music to be heard out on DAB and Roku. Toby, have you sent it over to Rick Spins yet?
I have not.
You have not. We're getting Caden. If you're listening, buddy, I should be phoning you in the morning, and we're going to get Toby's music tonight over on ISSA radio, because Toby's tonight is absolutely brilliant. So we are 18 minutes into the program. I don't know if anyone else, I think everybody's ready to hear this song, okay? So while I get this song ready for everybody, tell us the story of tonight, the background, and why you wrote it.
Yeah, man. So this was a song that I wrote with a good friend of mine many, many years ago. His name is Jason Lehman, and he's a local guy right here in Mount Vernon, Ohio, and a brilliant songwriter, great guitar player. Me and him have been friends since around 95, I think it was. And I think it was 1998, actually. I just had this idea in my head, and it was like, man, I want to just a song about, gathering with your friends. And I don't know how it is in the UK, but here, when you turn 21, which is legal drinking age here in the States, and, we're still young. There's no such thing as a career. You're still working a job, and the startup job. Many of us living still at home with our parents while we finish college or whatever, and you don't have a lot of money. So you meet your friends in the parking lot, and somebody's brought a bottle of something, tequila or whiskey or something. So you're drinking that in the parking lot, trying to get your buzz on before you go in the club, and then you go in the club.
No different. You and me are very much the same age.
You got $20 in your name, and you just try to finish off your buzz for the night, and so that was the idea for the first verse. And I remember I had the guitar riff like it just fell out. It was just dun 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 right into that G, and a start shirt and $100. I'm gassing up my old pickup truck tonight, and that set the precedent for the song right there. I think we wrote the whole thing in 45 minutes or so, if I remember right. Definitely under an hour. A few lyrical changes here and there through the years. But like I said, the song was written in '98, so it's almost 30 years old, and then nobody's ever even heard it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put this on now. Rick Spins, I hope you're listening, because we're going to get this over to you after the show tonight, because I'm going to help Caden out, and I'm going to chuck it over to him to make sure he plays it. But for you lot who haven't heard tonight, because it's been buried under some paperwork somewhere since the 1990s, Toby, if you need help, we get Caden to come over and to sort of like get into that shovel and get those music out and get some more out, okay? We're going to play tonight, and then right after tonight, we are going to find out a bit more about why the UK is in such a bad place for music at the moment, okay? So this is tonight, everyone.
A start shirt at $100. I'm gassing up my old pickup truck tonight to come and pick you up. I'm gonna throw the hammer down, point my truck toward that big old town tonight. We're gonna get wound up. Yeah, we're gonna meet our friends in the parking lot, pass the jar, have a few more shots. Head inside the bar, we're gonna crank it up. Yeah, tonight we're gonna get tore up. We're gonna dance around like some barroom fools, fall down and get back up. Yeah, tonight we're gonna throw them down. Yeah, there ain't no place I'd rather be.
Absolutely epic. Absolutely great track. If you can dig those out of the 90s and it all sounds like that, we're all going to be very happy. How did it feel when you've waited, what, 90s, a good 15, 20 years to put your music out, to let everybody hear it? Can you remember how you felt the day that released on radio or it released on like social media? Where was you sitting when you heard your track come out, so you could play it to everyone else? Can you remember?
Yeah, actually, but funny enough, I was pretty much in the room that I'm in right now, and the song went live and hit radio and all that, and I can't remember the exact radio station it was, but it was actually another friend of ours was like, "Hey, guess what I'm listening to?" and sent me a clip of it, and it was on the radio, and that was really cool because I got to hear it from a friend through a short video, and so it wasn't even me hearing it; it was me hearing it through their perspective, and it was just mind blowing. It's of all the things I've done in my life, I'm a contractor by trade, so I build like decks and fences and remodel houses and things like that. I own a construction company, so that's what I do to pay the bills, Monday through Friday. But it's to do this is the most gratifying thing that I've ever done, and to do it at this level is a blessing that I'm beyond thankful.
Good. And you deserve it. You've put a lot of work into it and a lot of belief into yourself to come and bring us great music, which you are doing. So we're just going over to the comments very quickly because comments are coming in tonight. So Freddie, Mambula, how are we this evening in Uganda? This is my Ugandan orphanage, Toby. So basically we're working with an orphanage who are basically the most amazing orphanage, and check them out please on YouTube if you haven't seen them. They're called the Hope Foundation, and they are a group of children who are supported by Freddie and his amazing wife, and a group of adults who basically in Uganda support these orphans to basically have a safe life and also a life where they can be healthy by supporting them with food and clothing. But through the magic of music and dance, they basically have an education with them all day, basically, around music and dance. The kids have an amazing time. They are supported. They just basically have a lot of fun. And me and Freddie got to know each other a couple of months ago, and he's now producing music videos from Uganda for local and national charities, starting off with my partners. So he's an amazing man. So welcome, Mambula. Welcome, Freddie. Welcome to the show. Thank you for sending in a comment to the show. You said very amazing. I don't know whether that's one life or whether this man Toby's music. I think it's this man's music and that you like his music, okay, which is absolutely fantastic because I do as well. And that came right towards while the music was going on, Toby. So I think that one's for you, okay? Very amazing, and he loved your track. Thank you, Freddie, for sending that in. That's absolutely great. Absolutely great, okay? So what we're going to do now, we are half an hour into the show. We are halfway through, and I want to go on to the Music Venue Trust, and then I would like to discuss with Toby about the state of the music industry over in America, but I also like to talk about how he feels he can help with the music industry, but also the local and national charities in relation to the support that is needed in America, and how he may be doing stuff or he may not be doing stuff, or how he could do stuff in the future. Okay. So I'm going to put this video on. I'm going to give Toby 5 minutes to have a think about it in terms of if he has been doing anything in the charitable world, or if this actual video for the Music Venue Trust is sort of like, sunk in a little bit. And actually, this is happening where I'm living right now, okay? So for everybody watching this on Facebook, YouTube, and X, we're just going to take a bit of a 5-minute break. Toby and me are going to be sitting in the background, okay? But we really want you to concentrate on the video. And then after the video, please, please, please share Music Venue Trust. Or if you've got the capability, please put a little bit of money in to support their good cause, okay? Okay, so tonight's video that we have got one which isn't just for the Music Venue Trust, It's the Times newspaper from their social media, basically taken only a year ago. But actually, if you think about where we are at in England at the moment, a lot more venues and a lot more pubs are closing down because of the recession. And a lot more venues and a lot more clubs aren't being able to offer music to kids. We're still in the same place. We are changing. There is some good times coming, okay? But things are still where they were a year ago. And this is where we are, were a year ago, but this is where we sort of are now. I'm going to play it to you. Enjoy, everyone.
Sector that is in an acute crisis, and it is absolutely time to get the defibrillators out. Every single artist that you have ever loved has started out in a small grassroots music venue, without doubt. If we lose these places, then we will inevitably lose all of the bands and artists that we are yet to fall in love with.
The situation at the moment is very, very serious. We obviously had a difficult pandemic, but interestingly, most of the venues survived. Coming at the back of that COVID crisis, unfortunately, we had 2 very, very hard years. It's just a spiral of costs going upwards all the time and without an increase in income. But there are other issues, noise complaints, developers coming in, all these things add up, and it just means that it's incredibly stressful and very, very challenging to try and keep one of these venues open. So here we are in South London. We're visiting a venue called Eclectic, and this is the latest venue that's going to be closed in London. This one is closing down because of planning and development. The whole of this area you can see, all this garden is part of a massive new development. This is a depressing sight, isn't it? This was a vibrant hub, celebratory place for the local community, live music, electronic music, a real feeling of a community coming together. And now just look, just an empty space. You have to ask, whose city is this? Because it doesn't belong to this community, it belongs to developers and planners who don't seem to care about our spaces where we share these experiences.
We are getting evicted after a year of fighting against the developers and the decision from the Lambeth Council. Over 10 years, we hosted events and support a lot of artists that's trying to push the boundaries of sound. This feels like really, really painful for all of us. This is basically the last day here at Old Paradise Yards, and we have just a few things to pack up and bring into the storage, and just basically give the key back and close the chapter.
Grassroots music venues are important for a whole range of reasons. They're really critical for local communities. They're places where we go out and we socialise, we dance, we have fun, we fall in love. It's also important for art and culture. You know, music's one of our biggest cultural exports. 1 in every 7 albums bought in the world is a UK music artist. That's a really important thing for the UK as a country. The beautiful thing about this grassroots venue and so many others around the country starts outside the door. There's a big queue here that goes down the street. There's a great sense of excitement. Here we're coming for a big night out to see our current favourite artists. You'll come through here and to this great big huge room. This will be completely packed full of people. It's going to be hot, it's going to be loud. There's all the lights going. There's a great atmosphere in here. It's full of vibes. There's a load of people with their hands in the air watching their favorite artists. I like to stand here. I like to stand at the back of the room, and I like to look out over that sea of people having a fantastic time and watch how the crowd and the artists interact and how the show develops and how the energy bounces around the room and exchanges between the artist on stage and the audience so that you get the best possible evening of art and music.
Okay, I'm going to come back. I'm just going to come off this now because I want to really reflect on sort of where we went on that video. We went from where the state of the UK industry is at the moment in relation to like venues closing down to that vibrant picture of people. I don't know about you, Toby. I remember there's like 80s and 90s, you know, you couldn't move in a music venue. You know, you were like this. try to sing to your favorite band. Can you remember the first time you went to a gig yourself, and what that felt like? Who did you go and see when you went to your first gig?
Oh my gosh, so it's amazing. You're 100% right. And, I remember, when I was, when I turned 18, which was the late 90s and into the early 2000s, I'd go to either concerts or I'd even karaoke over here was huge. And even here in our little rural town in central Ohio, you go to a karaoke place and it was standing room only. I mean, you were just packed in there. And if the popular bands were playing, my goodness gracious, it was ridiculous. And when that pandemic hit in 2020, it decimated so many great venues, historic venues. It just had a profound impact, a negative impact on the arts as a whole, not just music, but across the board.
We had theatre companies actually had a really bad time trying to actually convince the government that, one, it was safe to return to the theatre, but two, to be able to bring people back into the theatre, for COVID, for safety. Even now, 5 years on, we're watching Britain's Got Talent at the weekend, and the theatre companies are coming back to the stage on the national TV because they want people to go to their shows. And a lot of it is about the economy where we are. People can't afford a ticket to go and see a show in London, because let alone paying for their ticket, they're also going to be paying £20, for 2 drinks, £5 for a packet of crisps, all those things that we just took for granted in the 80s, 90s. We're almost being put into a position where we can't do that no more. We can't even go out and watch these acts. Is that the feeling you're getting over in the US as well, that the cost and the price, it's not just the fact that they are closing, it's also about being able to go into a venue and enjoy yourself now?
I see it a little different here, especially I would say in the last 2.5 years. The 2020, 2021, and into 22, yes, it was, we were, in a terrible economy here, a world economy actually, but here as well. So, you almost had to make a decision, do I buy groceries or do I go see my favorite artist, whoever that was? And, like I said, there were many, many major historic venues in the U.S. that closed because as a result of the pandemic. And, when you close down a venue that requires, thousands of people to be in attendance in order to pay its bills. And, some people may not realize that an average venue's electric bill is in the tens of thousands per month. Because of the amount of electricity that they use for any given show, you can understand why when you go 6 months and your venue is closed, that creates a giant problem for, I would say, better part of 90% of business owners. And you guys are seeing that over in the UK. Now, I'm not a world scholar, so I can't speak intelligently about the economics that are happening overseas to any capacity. I tend not to watch the news a whole lot because the world is perplexing enough without, basically willingly exposing myself to more negativity.
Definitely.
Be it on the political front or just current events, national or global events. It just seems like it's all negative. And so I tend not to watch the news a whole lot, but I am educated to the point to where if I do see something on social media, I do try to do my own research outside of the news outlets and try to determine for myself what happened. And with that being said, I said all that to say this. In the last 2.5 years, there's been a resurgence of music happening here in the States. even the small venues are beginning to bounce back if they survive the pandemic.
Right.
So we are seeing that, and it's helping a lot for artists at my level, because we're able to go in at a much affordable price than a national touring artist, or even a major regional touring artist. We can go in at a much more affordable price, bring quality entertainment to venues. And it all boils down to that mathematic equation that I said. When you have a venue that requires the attendance of, sometimes tens of thousands of people, you've got to make sure that you bring in quality entertainment. And that's what, guys like me and a lot of my other friends that are independent artists are trying to do. And you stay authentic to yourself, and you're going to bring an amazing show. It's when I see these guys try to reinvent something, that things tend to go south. But might have been a long-winded way of saying, I see a resurgence here. We're not quite as in a turmoil like you guys are still currently experiencing. 2.5 years ago, absolutely we were. And I'm just speaking from my perspective and
exactly. This is what this month's been all about, is finding out what really is happening out there across the globe. What are the stories? Are they what the social media are portraying?
Yeah.
Or are we in different places? Because it's really interesting to share these stories, and it's been a really good month, to be honest. We're on the 21st, and we've only got 9 more days to have and talk about this conversation. And there's been some cracking views on what's going on in the music industry, globally, because we are able to reach out globally all around the world, and where music actually is. And I think the one big thing about music is, in everybody's heart, is that music is still strong. And however we get music out, whether it's with or without a venue, collectively we can continue the music industry and bring great music out. And Toby, I take my hats off to you, to wait for your time and start bringing your music out when you're bringing it out in a time which is the most difficult. However, what you have found is that support bubble around the music industry at the moment is very, very good, very, very strong, especially independent artists. We've got a strong bubble of people supporting each other, walking us through, and I think that's really helpful. And it's thanks to the likes of Caden Gordon, and those type of promoters, Paul over in the UK for Sensational Sounds, Muriel, who sponsors our show, over in Europe. Those promoters who actually do something that's different by actually investing in the artist and their music. This is what's better. And as Zach is saying for Tammany over in ISSA, people investing in each other, supporting each other, and basically bringing the music industry in a lot better place, and producing songs like the next one I'm going to play for you, because we are going to play one from your YouTube. Now, excuse me, but I actually followed through your YouTube today and was trying to find ones which I knew that I liked, so I couldn't have time to speak to you and say, do you mind me if I play this one? But I found a bit on your YouTube in relation to be Free to Be Me. So you'd done a bit of talking before this song and gradually brought it on. But was this from a radio show, a podcast? Can you remember?
No, this was actually a video shoot that we did. This was called the Dark Room Sessions. This is just a live performance video, and we use it, to aid in booking, so venues and potential entertainment buyers can see what we do and what we look like when we perform. This song is actually going to be my next radio release. This song, very, 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 very dear to me. Are you familiar with American country music artist Aaron Tippin?
I've heard of him, but I've not heard a lot of his music, but I have heard him brought up in shows.
So Aaron Tippin was very big in the 90s. He had some amazingly big hits. You've Got to Stand for Something. My goodness, my brain's going crazy. But Kiss This, Where the Stars and Stripes and the Eagle Flies came out after 9/11. So very, very big big country music artist in the 90s, and he still is. I'm honored to say that he's a very dear friend of mine, and he personally pitched this song to me in 2020 when we were together doing a write. And so I was very honored. This song just means a lot to me. It's just one of those feel-good songs. It's a patriotic song, yes, but it's a generalized patriotic song, which is what I like about it. Though it does talk about in some instances being specifically about America, as far as where there's a line in there that says you can burn the flag of democracy, but not in front of me, brother. It does speak to that, but in general, it reminds people that it's okay for you to be you, and it's okay for me to be me. And no one is better than anybody else. And I think now more than anything in this world, acceptance is key. Jesus didn't condemn anyone; he accepted everyone. And there's so much negativity in this world. To just have little reminders that, you know what, everyone has feelings, everyone has their daily battles, everyone has their daily successes. No one is better than anybody else. And that's why I think this song is so powerful, because if you take it at face value, yes, it's an American patriotic song. But if you listen to the lyrics a little deeper, it reminds you and me to treat each other as we would want to be treated ourselves. And it's okay. It's okay to have your opinion. It's okay for me to have my opinion. And we should not feel inferior, embarrassed, or be canceled because of that.
Do you know what, Toby? Toby for the next president. If that was a president's statement, that would have been absolutely on the door.
No.
Caden, I'll tell you what, Toby's going to be our next president of the USA, because that was a brilliant speech. I absolutely love it. We are going to play Free to Be Me. We're going to play Free to Be Me, and a great introduction in relation to this song. But yeah, I agree. Go on, whoever you are, whether, just be you. That's all we want. Just be you, okay? We're going to play this song, and then right after this song, we're going to take a little bit of a journey into what's coming next for Toby in relation for the rest of this year, what we've got to look forward to, and also a little bit about some of the shows and some of the things that he does. So if you go and see him live, you know what you're going to be up to, okay? So Free to Be Me, playing next.
I can build my life with my own two hands. Dream as big as I want in this promised land. Be anything that I dare to be in this sacred place of opportunity. Yeah, with a lot of hard work and a little love too, I can make it all come true. 'Cause I'm free to do it my own way. I'm free in these United States. I'm free to follow what I believe. I'm free. I'm free to be me. You can cast a vote for what you think is right, and defend that choice with all your might. You can disagree with Uncle Sam, march and protest and take a stand. And you can even burn the flag of democracy, but not in front of me, brother. 'Cause I'm free to do it my own way. I'm free in these United States. I'm free to follow what I believe. I'm free. I'm free to be me. people fought and died for these liberties. 'Cause the price of freedom is never cheap. Strong and proud and unafraid. And that's why they call this the home of the brave. And with just one look in a warrior's eyes, I know the reason why. 'Cause I'm free to do it my own way. I'm free in these United States. I'm free to follow what I believe. I'm free. Yeah, I'm free to do it my own way. I'm free in these United States. I'm free to follow what I believe. I'm free. I'm free to be me. I'm free to be me. I'm free to be me. I'm free to be me.
Absolutely amazing vocals, absolutely amazing sort of composition of lots of different instruments there. I tell you what, we often talk about singers having the hardest time on stage, being a live singer. But you've got amalgamation of music and in relation to steel guitar. Was it steel guitar we saw on stage with the violin?
Yeah.
The bloke sitting on and playing this. Tell me a bit, have you played the steel guitar? Is it easy? It looks really complicated. He looks like he's having the hardest job in the band.
So yes, I actually have. Honestly, the guitar player that's playing on there with me, his name is Conway Turley, and he's an amazing artist in and of his own right, and he's a multi-instrumentalist. He can play everything in a country band. Drums is his first instrument, but he's an amazing guitar player. He's actually been on the road for the last 3 years with Joe Nichols playing pedal steel guitar. So I say all that to say, yes, I have tried to play steel guitar. I've tried to play Conway steel. I make noise come out of it. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of noise. It's
but my hats are off to anybody who attempts to play something that is out of the abnorm when it comes to band arrangement. You know, it was amazing to see for you to have violin being played around you. You know, you've got your main guitars, you know, the steel guitar and things like that. It must be amazing to have such a talented array of different people on your stage with you singing. I remember it as beautiful.
I am beyond blessed to know so many talented players, and that they find my music worthy enough to to learn and recreate and play these shows and to some extent tour and do this and it's just about timing and things like that. And you said something a little bit ago that kind of stuck with me, and I wanted to touch on real quick, if you don't mind. But you had
go for it.
You had said something about music being timeless and whether we have venues or not, and you're 100% right. Music endures. It doesn't matter what's there or not, and it's happened many times over the existence of people. If you think back to a very famous concert that was only supposed to happen once, was Woodstock. Woodstock happened in New York because of the rebellions, because those particular artists were being shunned by radio and by the industry, and they said, you know what, we're going to put on our own show. And it was one of the biggest gatherings of human beings in the world, and its numbers have been exceeded now, but that concert will always have its place in history, and music will prevail. and people will get together. If all the governments in the world came tomorrow and said, we're shutting down all the venues, I will guarantee you that people will play music and people will hear music. If it's in their cow fields at home, if it's in the backwoods, it will endure, it will prevail. If they stop making guitars tomorrow, people would build guitars in their basements, their garages, and their homes. It will endure, and it's not something that our government entities can control in any way, shape, or form. And I think the resilience that a lot of these artists and a lot of these venues have had coming out of the pandemic, really pays homage to that in and of itself, that this form of art, though not any more important or any less important than the other forms of art, but it got hit very, very hard, and it's going to prevail, and it's going to be out there of any genre, hip hop, rap, country. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to prevail because it's what people want. It's what makes your heart tick. I don't care if you're the worst cynic in the world, the most, if you're Elon Musk and the most powerful man in the world. I don't care who you are. There's a song that you wake up in the morning and you're humming something, whether it's Mary Had a Little Lamb or Metallica. Music
you know what? It's very true. Do you know what? It's very true. The amount of people who wake up in the morning, and my partner's going to kill me for this because she hates it when I hum. Whether it's a hum of a musical song, or you've heard it on the radio, or you've heard it on the TV, you've heard it from your friend in your family, that music's always going to live inside us. Anyway, listen, we could go on for ages, and we're going to put the world to right and be president. You can be president of the US, I'll be president of the UK. Anyway, we are going to do what we do best tonight. We are just going to go on a very, very quick journey before I empty Toby's pockets, okay? Caden's probably not sort of said anything to you about this, but we do turn you upside down. We do empty your pockets before you go, but it doesn't cost that much, okay? Because if it's on your subject, actually, you shouldn't even have to empty your pockets at all, okay? So what we're going to do before we do that, Toby, can you tell all of your fans and your listeners out there, while I'm sorting out the quiz tonight, which is going to be played with you, against your audience, which is on Facebook, YouTube, and X. That's right, everybody. Get your pens and papers out. We are playing the 80s and 90s country quiz tonight. Okay, and we basically going to find out who are the singers. And if you know the singers, put them down on a piece of paper. If you've got them wrong, be honest with yourself, okay? And if you score less than Toby, go over to the Music Venue Trust, make a donation, and help them out, okay? Okay, so Toby's setting the bar high tonight, hopefully, okay? And you're all following Toby. 10 questions, that's all we do. Basically, that's all we got time for tonight. The football's on in about 10 minutes, so yeah. But at the end of the day, it's only 10 questions just so we don't make it too expensive, because it isn't a cost-expensive thing that we do. It goes on for the rest of the month, and basically we're there to raise awareness to the Music Venue Trust. So, Toby, while I am sorting out the quiz, can you tell your fans and your family, apart from your EP, what else is coming up for 2025 for them to listen to?
Okay, yeah, man. June 6th, the EP comes out. It's called It's About Time. And we're debuting that on June 6th in Nashville during CMA Fest on Friday, June 6th at noon. We're going to be at Big Shots on 2nd Avenue. Really, really excited about that. That's going to be a huge show for us. We've got my calendar is always updated on Facebook and on my website. You can find all of that, TobyMayOfficial.com. My socials, Facebook /Toby May Official, YouTube /@Toby May Official, and you can find us out there. We're going to be doing a lot of shows as the year progresses and into 2026. So we're really excited about it, and we've got at least one more single that we're going to do coming out radio real soon. So Adrian, I hope I get a chance to talk to you again about that.
You will definitely be talking to me about that, and we'll be keeping you all up to date about what's going on for Toby May, okay? Because Toby May's journey's only just started with One Life. anytime he's like going to give us something new or there's a new update on Toby May, myself and Caden will make sure that on One Life you get to find out all about Toby May, because he is one of our family members now, and with one of our One Life family members, we always update you and find out what they've been doing and get them on the show and let you know what they're up to. So before he goes tonight, we are going to empty his pockets quickly by Guess Who's Singing the 80s and 90s country. So I'm going to go behind the scenes a minute and put on the quiz for tonight. Let's see if we can hear it.
Classic country. Test your knowledge of country singers from 1985 to 1999 in this fun Guess Who Is Singing challenge. Keep track.
Okay, could you hear her talking? Does that come through?
Yep.
Fantastic. We're getting there tonight, because last time we did this, we didn't get anybody because we couldn't get anything going on because no one could hear it. So at least we've got the game going tonight.
Show you.
So basically,
Your score and let us know at the end.
so basically, you're just guessing the singer when they sing. Okay. So let's
And how you did. Let's get started.
let's have a practice.
Listen closely.
If you wonder how long I'll be faithful.
Who was
So that's it. They give a bit of a song, and you've got to guess who it is. Okay. So who was that?
Randy Travis.
Randy Travis. Let's see if he was
Singing.
right.
that was
There
Randy.
you go. See? So we're going to make it a bit interesting for you, okay, out there, okay? So for all of you tonight playing along, whether you're playing along after the game or you're playing on live tonight, all of you have got $2 in your pocket, okay, for all the wrong answers, okay? So please get the mic, because it can get expensive quite quickly. 10 questions, $2 for all those you get wrong, okay? So Toby, have you got that, mate? I don't think you're going to be spending much tonight, because look at that, right, correct answer. Okay, let's see what the next one is.
Randy Travis from Forever and Ever. Amen.
Forever and ever, amen.
Recognize.
Reba.
Say it again, Toby.
That's Reba.
Is the singer? It's Reba McEntire
Oh,
from the
Toby's
last one.
getting
You know.
it. He's flying tonight.
Foodies. We
Look,
all need variety
excuse
in our
me,
life.
Cat.
For
You're
us
nothing
cats,
to
it's
do with
a wide
country.
range of
Get
recipes
off.
from
Go
gourmet.
on.
How
Off you go.
fortunate we are. Delight.
Like, come on, we'll get back to it now.
Listen closely.
I remember that old
George.
river.
It wasn't Toby.
That is King George Strait.
Okay, let's see if you're right.
It was
It is
George
George
Strait
Strait.
from
Well
All My
done.
Exes Live in Texas.
All my exes live in Texas.
When you start thinking that you know it all.
Randy Tucker.
Say it again.
It's Tanya Tucker.
Say it again, Toby. Okay, let's see if you're right.
The answer is Tanya
It's Tanya
Tucker,
Tucker.
from Strong Enough to Bend.
Just coming back to the show. Toby, are you Googling these, or are these just coming out of your brain? Because I can't see you behind the screen.
Coming out of my
There's no
brain.
Google there,
This is
everyone.
it.
This is all natural. This is all natural, everyone. This is how good he is, okay? Let's see if he continues the
keep
winning
my hands
streak.
right here.
Let's see if he can continue the winning streak, everybody, all right?
If we're strong enough to bend.
I don't know if works for me, still upset you.
Who was it?
That's Clint Black.
Claire Black?
That's
It is
right.
Clint Black. Well
Black
done.
from A Better Man.
You're good.
I'm leaving here a better man.
Hello, you said the day we met, and it
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton, let's see if
That
you're
was
right.
Dolly.
The answer is Dolly
It is
Parton
Dolly.
from her song Yellow Roses.
yellow roses
saw the surprise and the fear in his eyes.
You know that one. You're not going to miss that one, are you?
That was Garth Brooks with Friends in Low Places.
That's Garth.
'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey. You drop that quarter. Keep one thing in mind.
Guess the singer.
Alan Jackson.
Yeah, it's Alan Jackson from Don't Rock the Jukebox.
I'm so impressed.
Don't rock the jukebox. Play me a country song.
She's young and then she just don't care. She'd follow Tommy.
That's Trisha.
It's Trisha.
It's Trisha Yearwood with She's in Love with the Boy.
Well, she's in love with the boy. She's in will we sing?
Vince Gill. That's Vince Gill.
Correct.
Correct. I'm not emptying your pockets tonight, am I? Jesus. Do you know what? Toby May, for the first time, we have had one of our guests on the show. And believe me, we've had a lot of guests on our show. I'll tell you what, since last year, I've been running this for a year and a half now. And I think we're now on about 150 guests. And we do these quizzes virtually every single week with about 5 or 6 people. And I tell you what, the scores can go from 0 to 10. And I tell you what, it's been a long time since we had 10 out of 10. Well done, Toby. You've done absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Okay. But we also have a thing called One Life Challenge. So this also makes the music industry in a bit of an interesting way, okay? So, Toby, I want you to help me. I want you to help me set up, because he's not going to listen to this. Caden, you basically gave me somebody who was so good at country music that I couldn't get any money out of him. So it's my turn, Caden Gordon, and we're going to come up with a little something which is going to get you sorted, okay? So, Toby, could you do me a favor? Could you basically ring up Caden Gordon one day and basically with a set of country questions, because I don't know about you, everybody, Caden is meant to be the king of country music when it comes to the radio shows. But I'm going to challenge Toby to come up with a quiz so difficult, not even Caden Gordon's going to know what country is all about, okay? So either during one of these radio shows, it would be hilarious if you just phoned in, or if it was basically done over a phone call so everybody can call. Let's just trick Caden Gordon. And then basically what we'd tell him at the end of it, it was basically a trick for One Life. And basically, yep, that money that he lost is going to the Music Venue Trust. Have a think about that, Toby. Okay, and have a think about how we can do that for One Life and how we can do that for the Music Venue Trust. And let's see if Caden Gordon is as good as what he says he is with country music, okay? He's always working so hard, okay? Perhaps we could throw some of the singers from the CMA in there as well with some songs that he doesn't actually know from the artist. Let's trick him, shall we? Right, it's been a great, great time, Toby. We've had a great time with you, but the time is gone. I have gone over extra tonight, but Toby, you've been a great guest. Really, really enjoyed my time. Is there anyone you want to say thank you to?
It's my pleasure. Thanks to Caden Gordon for putting you and I together. Adrian, it has been my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity to come and sit with you this afternoon, or in your case, this evening. And since you're, 5 hours ahead of me, is there anything I need to know about later today?
About later today? Well, in the UK, obviously, it's going to carry on raining as normal. Okay. And apparently we've got a tornado coming our way, or a bit of a tunnel. Normally that means we have to duck, because the only tunnel we're going to see is the tunnel we drive underneath. And the tornado, we'll probably just get a little bit of wind and it'll knock our wheelie bin over. So that's what's coming up in the UK. And we've also got a football match going on the telly. So, yeah, that's what's going on. But thank you, Toby. Thank you for your time. We will catch up with you and we will put all your stuff on. We've enjoyed having you on the show. So for me, everybody, I'm not back till Monday. We will bring you some more artists next week, but we are going to be working hard in the academy to make sure the next generation are just as good as this man. Okay, keep going with that music, mate. We're loving it in the UK. Take good care of yourself, and we'll speak to you soon. Goodbye, everyone.
All right.